I love games that aren't in the spotlight. However, something even better are games that have had a long and storied history, but in 2024 don't get the same attention as they once did. While you're playing the game at the final hour, most of the game's players have quit. Out of the over 70,000 games on Steam, I found 4 that are slowly being forgotten or have already fell between the cracks years ago, with just a fraction of their original communities remaining. Aberoth is an extremely niche adventure game that I found deep in the RPG section of Steam. The beginning of the game is all to do with PvE, but I was told the large majority of the community are late game players who prefer to PvP more than anything else. Perhaps that's why what I've heard about the community of Aberoth paints a pretty strange picture, and some of the reviews like this one from ZVNXT back that up. Users with thousands of hours spend IRL money on the game and use it to harass strangers to make sure they don't play the game. I contacted staff and got no response, which makes sense because the game hardly has 100 active players. It's just unfortunate a good game concept is ruined by people who like to abuse others. Aberoth's average player count has decreased year upon year from the original 200 plus it experienced on launch. Last month was one of its lowest player counts on record, so finding experienced players wasn't going to be a challenge. The realm I chose was Cyan, since it had the most players online at the time. After turning in the first quest of taking out a few bats for Inala, I tried buying equipment with the 41 gold I had. Instead of going to the store, I mistook the banker for the shopkeeper, which of course was seen by a player called Lil Uzi Vert. Need equipment. Follow me. Oh, this guy's helping me. Lil Uzi Vert. He said 41 gold isn't a lot. I'll be right back. So I think I've now got an axe and a shield. And I have 11 gold left. This guy was kind enough to give me armor, an axe, a shield, and helped me get started on my second mission of killing 10 rogues. Stand on this table and right click your items to engrave them. You're good. I'm here to help. What a legend. We all start somewhere. I can't believe I've just had a guy come in and give me 200 odd gold and let me, teach me the game. The very basics, but the most important things to learn. By this point, my current gear was good enough that he told me to engrave it. Engraving gear at the tavern for gold allows you to keep it upon death, so if a player were to attack me, they'd only get the portion of loot I didn't engrave. Lil Uzi Vert genuinely saved me at the beginning, so I was pretty happy to go to sleep with over 50 gold in the bank, the rogue quest almost completed, and get up fresh tomorrow to get some solo progress done. 2024 wasn't a bad year for new games, but 2025 is going to be next level. On January 30th of next year, Sniper Elite Resistance is releasing to the public and is already available to pre-order today. It'll come with the classic Sniper Elite combat mechanics, a full-length campaign available in both single-player and co-op, and of course, the trademark X-Ray kill cam. This time round though, brand new propaganda missions have been introduced where you can adopt the role of a resistance fighter. Sniper Elite Resistance will be available from day one on Xbox Game Pass and also both digitally and physically on Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, PS5 and 4, and through both Steam and Epic Games on PC. If you pre-order using my link, you'll receive a bonus new Target Führer campaign mission, and more. Deluxe Edition pre-orders also receive 2 days early access to the game, with the Season Pass included. I logged on the next day at about noon, to find absolutely nobody online in my realm. So after dying almost instantly and losing a bunch of stuff, I decided to create a new account and start fresh with my newfound knowledge in another server. This was the best decision I could have possibly made, because there I found a player called Caven. Caven helped me transfer to their server so we could do the rogue quest together. Something I couldn't do before, but now that I had a membership, I unlocked this extra room where you could literally just teleport instantly. Once that was done, we worked on completing the rogue boss quest, which after a couple attempts was a success. Help! Help please! They're just taking the hits and letting me pick up all the gold and shit. They told me to buy a vault the moment I hit 500 gold. And I also got to see their personal vault, which was filled with a bunch of shit I had no hope of identifying. Jesus. So is this, like... It's a bank for items you don't want to sell. Wow, that's cool. I am new to the game also. I wonder if that's why they're helping me. Because they were in this situation probably not too recently. Caven taught me about the ropes that allow you to hold more loot, and the right-hand, left-hand mechanic to maximize your weaponry. After a few hours, Caven left me with the advice of switching to the Yellow Realm, since some players there may be able to help me further. I don't know how I got so lucky in meeting Caven, but everything I knew so far about the community was the polar opposite of most reviews I had read. By the third day, and with Caven's help, I had completed the Thief quest, which was slightly trickier to kill than the rogues because they were fast as fuck, and usually had actual daggers. Okay, I gotta go back because I got a bunch of shit that I kinda need to sell. Oh, I'm gonna try escape. Please don't be blocked. It is indeed blocked. I'm dead. The bat! Let me please sell this stuff. I need a break. We're on 149. That's okay. That's a decent amount considering I just spent 150. We are lucky to have you on our side. Oh, ring. So that gave me +1 defense. Okay. The wolf area was a bit of a shock to me, but you quickly learn that taking on an entire pack instead of one at a time doesn't work at this level. For the wolf quest, I got a new focus called Bind Wounds, which let me heal quicker. It wasn't too noticeable, but I'm sure it helped me at some point. This was now day 4, and the next quest, Orcs, went by really quickly thanks to already having spent 800 gold on a mace and 500 on the longsword. With Caven's advice, I also bought a vault at some point, and later into the day people started slowly logging on, so I hung around the tavern a bit more often. A little while later, after I had just come back from a rogue farm run, a dodgy looking fella approached me in the tavern. Hey! Hey! I just got attacked. So Rye is your friend. He is now. Tampon? You're my f***ing guy. He told me you attacked him. Also, I saw on Bluebird. GG. Oh, invites you to join his guild. Guild accept. Holy shit, I'm in New Order. Although I don't think I would have died, the guys that protected me decided to invite me to their guild. I managed to get a peek at their vault, and this was my first real look at actual wealth. That was such a good ending. I finally got to kind of see what real wealth was like. I think I could play this for like another 100, 200, 300 hours and not get to that point. See you later, Aberoth. I am finally going to bed. 11 hours of playtime, and I barely scratched the surface of the countless boss fights and quests this game has for the late game players. It takes hundreds and often thousands of hours to become what most would call rich in this game, and you can see that by looking at the wealth leaderboard on the official Aberoth website. The richest player of all time is MCMDo with over 10 million gold. For reference, I am 36,358th in the list with 84 gold. Before I started playing on day 2, I sent this MCMDo a friend request on Steam. I had a pretty strong feeling the guy wouldn't accept because his 9,000 hours on Aberoth hadn't moved in weeks. 2 weeks later, a week after I had actually stopped playing, I got a message on Steam from Traitor's Requiem, otherwise known as MCMDo. Thinking of those earlier reviews, a part of me expected the guy to just remove me after asking about his Aberoth situation, but he was more than happy to show me everything. Dude, he's just sent me a picture of his vault. And that is, yeah. So he has just over 9,000 hours in Aberoth. And that is the culmination of what 9,000 hours looks like. For reference, owning more than 50 shockwaves would be considered a huge amount for most players since they're 25k plus each. I own 400. So at this guy's peak, he had over $6,000 worth of wealth in this game. Nothing in that vault picture is recognizable to me, but I know it's a shit ton. He said his initial goal was to collect a measly 10 million coins, and once he did that, he moved to shockwaves. He slowly faded away from Aberoth after a lot of his long-term friends left the game themselves, due to having completed everything there is to do in the whole game. While you're playing the game at the final hour, most of the game's players have quit. Most that still play on the arcane yellow realm. It's the belief of most players that the developer is clearly happy with the current state of Aberoth and considers the game finished. Longtime players like MCM do hope that changes, because without new areas and content, it's hard to get stuck into the game again. Very cool. Very, very cool. What an honor to speak to the man himself. What a f***ing honor. I gotta give a big thanks to MCM Do for taking the time and not instantly blocking me. Absolute legend for that. Thank you to everyone else who helped me as well. Caven, Lil Uzi, the guy who I didn't even mention that gave me a hand with my thief quest for hours. It's safe to say, my experience wasn't anything like the reviews. But I played for less than a week. And if the reviews weren't at least partly true, the community wouldn't be as small as it is. Military shooters are quickly becoming one of the most popular genres on Steam, but when Vanguard was first teased in 2007 under the name Traction Wars, things were very different. 4 months after the first Armor game releases, General Naga makes a blog post on IndieDB. It features a crossbow and a reinforced bunker. Each year after saw countless new posts by General Naga, but no release. In August of 2018, after 11 years of slow development, they rebranded to Vanguard Normandy 1944 and started a Kickstarter with the goal of $10,000 and announced the game would cost $15 rather than the initially planned free-to-play. Since Vanguard was released onto Steam in early access in 2019, it's received at least 1 or 2 updates a month, with events held every other weekend to find bugs and gather feedback from the small community that still follow the game's progress. Over the 2-decade journey Vanguard has been on, many people have supported and eventually forgotten about the game, but there remains a core community, including the original director, General Naga. I sent one of the developers for Vanguard a Discord message asking what kind of state the game was in and whether I could get some of you lot to come play with me. Turns out Ancient is a nice fella. He offered me 15 keys so we could fill up the lobby when the event day came around. And after handing them out in my Discord, all I had to do was hope some of you actually turned up. Alright, we got 3, 6, 13 people. That's not too bad. Over the course of the first 2 games, the lobby slowly filled up. But for whatever reason, grenades weren't working properly.
Oh, okay, that was
Oh, he's dead. Is he? Let's have a little look-sees. Tegan. Oh no. The server crashed. Each time a grenade got thrown, the server would crash on impact. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh, what a vibe this is at night, man.
Vibe for sure. Blind also, but vibe.
We just took Baker. Clear out the area.
Oh?
What?
Well in.
Feels
Oh.
incredibly useful.
We were attacking? I thought we were defending.
Oh, brother.
Screw this German infrastructure.
No, that's amazing. What? You can shoot the street lights out. We were pushing some tents around halfway through the game when another grenade was thrown, and again, the server crashed. Over there, bot marker.
Oh, yeah, thanks for pinging. I was about to say, that's not helpful.
He's down on your ping.
Oh! The grenade just crashed my game. The server crash let me join the other team in the 3rd game, where I got to meet Catalyst, a developer, and General Naga himself. Oh, it was a good grenade. I reckon he was dead.
Yeah, and then we all died.
Or at least kicked, yeah.
So that's like a nuclear grenade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, couple team kills.
You got the power-up grenade, don't worry.
Oh, there actually is a house you can go in. I take back what I said. There were silly little bugs, like not being able to bind the scoreboard, that Tegan discovers because the weirdo uses tab for sprinting. But General Naga and his guys took it all on board and wrote stuff down as we went. Just as we hit 20 players, a pretty high number for these testing events, the server seemed to freeze again. Except this time I didn't realise. Watch where your barrel's pointed, buddy. Wait, the server died. I just realised. The majority of the games consisted of me and all the other guys not killing anyone while the devs were 1v3ing around every single corner. Right there, behind this wall.
Grenade.
Oh,
Watch
they're
out,
all
Catalyst.
coming. They're all coming. Down that road. How's he not dead? Huh?
Just taking down 3 guys approaching A.
The NCO role is the squad leader. Your biggest responsibility is to remember to spawn your team in every couple minutes, since respawns work in waves. You can't just die every 2 seconds and waste tickets. It makes you play more passive and for the team, which I'm not great at. Thanks to the 2 devs on our team, we took the 4th game home, and by the 5th, people were slowly filtering out of the lobby.
We are capturing objective Able. Mission success.
Yay,
The enemy
Well
is
done.
held.
Alright. How many points did I get? 150. I've actually done okay. Man, look at this game though. I gotta say, it may be in its infancy, but the people behind it know what they're doing. That's for sure. Alright, guys, I gotta go. But it's been so much fun.
No worries, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for hosting, man. Good luck with the future of the game and everything.
Thank you, feel free to pop in any time.
That was actually a lot of fun. There were some server crashes, but to be honest, for a game that's so far in its infancy, I was pleasantly surprised. And it looks incredible. For a game that's been in development for over 2 decades, it did feel a bit bare bones. There weren't a lot of ambient sounds that actually make you feel like you're there. There was no vaulting of any kind, and the maps did sometimes feel a bit empty. However, the guns looked and felt amazing. The game ran really well apart from the occasional grenade nuke, and most importantly, the devs are legends. If you used to follow Traction Wars and wondered where it went, well, General Naga and his beloved game are still here, and I'll leave a link to their Discord below if you'd like to join any of their playtests. Ratz is an Instagib FPS game that first released into early access in 2015. Instagib is a game type that originated from Unreal, with one-shot hit-scan weapons. Throughout the years, popular creators have covered Ratz from time to time and occasionally given the player base a huge spike in numbers. However, regardless of promotion, numbers eventually fizzle out, and recently they've been close to 0. Each time I'd hop on, there would be nobody. I could fight bots, but that just isn't the same. It took over 4 hours of checking every 20 minutes until I finally saw the lobby channel light up in the Discord. I've just launched the game. It's 9 PM because I've seen on Discord there is an active lobby. It's just me or Vincent. I thought there was 4 people. Ratz is a very simple game. It quite literally just consists of bunny hopping, rocket jumping, and a gun with infinite ammo. Yet there was definitely a bit of a skill gap between Vincent and I. He's gonna supersize his crosshair. I like the sound of that. A new guy joined after a while, and he gave me my first 2 kills of the game, while Vincent was just having a great time. Finally. Hold on. I found somebody I can actually kill. I learned very quickly in the second game that the more people in the lobby doesn't always mean more fun. Dude, Chewy's the only one with a single frag so far. I was doing okay for a second there. I swear to God, Chewy is the only one in this entire map who's killed me over and over again. I spent the large majority of the day with extremely good players. I tried turning the map saturation down like pros do. I changed my FOV to what Vincent used, but there isn't much you can really do when you're playing against veterans. Vincent had over 200 hours on Ratz, and the guy with the terrible name had well over 500. Those numbers might sound low, but you join games by clicking a button in Discord. That button puts you directly in a lobby, so those hours don't include any time spent AFK in menus. Holy shit, what a shot! Oh, I just killed myself. There we go. I'm feeling myself. Okay. The moment you get a bit of satisfaction out of this game, it just shuts you down. Eventually, everyone left, and I returned the next day just to end up 1v1ing the guy with the strange name, otherwise known as Rag. He of course won every game, and by the time someone else had joined, Rag had began leaving the lobby and rejoining when he hit 29 kills, so as to keep the lobby going for longer. He reset his score again. Hold on. He reset his score again, which means I'm probably going to win. I will say, if he now still wins the lobby, I don't think I deserve to be able to load up this game ever again. He is at 10 and I'm at 29. Okay. We did it. Okay. Holy shit. That was insane. I think I'm just going to call it there, man. That was like... wow. As a guy who has never touched any Instagib games, it was a huge breath of fresh air. Queeky, a long-term Ratz player, told me all about the competitive scene that keeps this game alive. At the moment, a lot of the best players have taken a break from Ratz after playing for so long, and the current tournament has stagnated with players not finding time to finish games. Queeky showed me some footage of the world's best players. No Love playing a deathmatch lobby and Carrots in a tournament against another insanely good player. For such a simple game, the skill ceiling is incredibly high. I still think in years to come these guys will just keep getting better. Thankfully for Ratz, these servers are probably quite cheap to run, and the small Discord community will keep this place going for quite a long time. I was pretty surprised that even within just a few hours, I was starting to show signs of improvement, and I could hang with a few people that joined the lobby. It's certainly not a hard game to learn, evidently even for the slowest of people, and there are plenty of really nice games that are more than happy to give you a hand getting started. I'll of course put their Discord in the description, but if you do join, make sure to be respectful. Out of all the MMORPGs on Steam, Wurm Online is one of the more obscure ones. There are 80 MMORPGs more popular than Wurm on the Steam platform alone. Not to mention the multiple servers that Wurm has, splitting the player base into even smaller groups. The oldest Wurm servers, like Independence, have reasonably small player bases and have decreased year upon year since their initial release. I started here because finding another person would be close to impossible, and there was a certain location I had on my radar. With the iconic Dragonfang Mountains in its center, Independence is the second largest of the Southern Freedom Isles, populated since 2009. Its lands showcase over 15 years of player-made history. So I think this is where it is. The description says, on a side of Dragonfang Mountain, which is this thing, and I see a rock cliff museum. Okay, the terrain is starting to look a little like the one in the video. I think that might be the spire they talk about. The big tower on the right isn't there, but it's the same exact shape. And there's this huge spire, yeah, it's right next to it. This was Titch's Cathedral, built in 2013 by both Titch and a player named TLOZ. Sadly, in 2018 it was announced that Titch had passed away after a battle with esophageal cancer. Titch was known as one of the most impactful players in the entire community, and later contributed directly as a developer for the game. It's actually the Rockcliffe Gothic Cathedral, made by both Titch and TLOZ. Both of them. I'm not really sure whether TLOZ plays anymore. There's gotta be a way. Oh. Wow. We made it to the top. This is incredible. I think it's so cool that this place will probably be here forever. I love this. I love this so much. And there we go. I can't believe this thing's like almost 11 years old. That's over half my age. I was 10 years old when this got built. Just down the road from the cathedral were a couple of villages, and more importantly, Titch's Bay. Here I found the fishing statue developers added to memorialize Titch, as it was their favourite thing to do. I think that's another Titch statue, all the way out there in the ocean. You could see how much she meant to these people, to everyone. That is definitely, yeah, smack bang in the centre of Titch's Bay. What I find really cool is actually that a lot of these roads were built by Titch. Many people thought Titch was a woman due to their character, but Titch was actually a guy called Chris. The name Titch was actually their younger sister's nickname in real life. I discovered that Chris's sister had no idea that was the name he used, and it hit her hard when she eventually found out. Chris made a huge amount of the roads I used on Independence, and eventually left to other servers where he contributed even more infrastructure. A day after I started playing, I found an early 2019 forum post made by a user called Enki. They announced that a memorial for Titch had been finished on the release server. It began as a way for co-workers and friends of Titch to remember who he was, and how much of an impact Titch made on them. It took me a couple of hours of travelling to get there, and on the way I got to see one of the prettiest villages in the entire game, Brambleheim. Pickles, Albert Ein Swine, Crispy Bacon, Ham Solo, Holly Jolly, Kappa, Louina Along, Piglet, Kevin Bacon. Can we just... hold on. They have a blue whale. I feel like I didn't fully take that in. This is beautiful. Look how cozy that is. All of these buildings are like entirely unique. Each built by a different person probably. Some of which probably haven't logged on for a very, very long time. I think this up ahead is the memorial. There it is. What's up, Titch? This would have taken quite a while to construct. Wow. That is huge. I've just got a huge smile on my face. Like, this is special. This is so, so special. Not a bad view either. Not a... Almost all the different decoration items you see here were each brought by numerous different people. The forum thread encouraged everyone to bring one thing that they'd like to contribute to the place. But since I was dead poor, my contribution was to move the unnecessarily large spider that almost killed me on the way up. A list of people that helped. There we go. Big credit to all of you. 24%. Wow, that's cool. You can see the exact percentages of how much they placed, I'm assuming. The huge list of people that helped contribute towards this place made it clear Titch was a huge figure in this community. And thanks to the work these guys put in, he'll be immortalized in Wurm forever. And you can see it for yourself in L25 on the release server. After a full day of exploring, I spent the next day doing a puzzle. This is Puzzle Labyrinth, made by Factional Fight, a duo of brothers that own one of the biggest Wurm Online YouTube channels. They first created this maze 6 years ago, and held a grand opening for the few people that were online to try complete it all on the same night. They had a bunch of people finish the maze within about 3 hours, which may sound like a lot. I started the maze at around 9 PM, and by roughly 3 AM I had made it around 70% of the way through. I had no bandages though, and about 40% health, so I used Cat's Purr's video on the maze to guide me through the rest. I guess I'll just make a run for it, there's no point. Oh, I think we're okay. Okay. I think I've done it. It's been far too long. Puzzle King's Crystal Ball. Oh my... I thought I didn't get it, but we did. That's so amazing. And we're back at the beginning. 0% water, 16% stamina, and 41% health. You did an incredible job, Factional Fight. And I would have probably been there for another 5 or so hours, had it not been for Cat's Purr, so thank you to you as well, Cats. I'm losing my voice. I'm probably now gonna go to bed. After a few hours of sleep, I decided to spend 2 hours journeying to a deed owned by Valiance, a guy who streams a bunch of MMOs, including Wurm. I only learned about Titch and his creations thanks to Valiance, so no matter how rough the journey, I had to see his more modern village. On the way, I found a pretty big citadel, as well as a deed called Autumn Twilight. Discovering Autumn Twilight was a complete accident, but turns out it's owned by both the Factional Fight brothers, Brian and Adam. By this point, I had spent over 11 hours exploring the older and quieter deeds of Wurm Online, but I still had the goal of building something. I was recommended by a veteran called K-Ray to visit Oak Harbor. It's one of the oldest deeds in Wurm existence, and it's in great shape still. So this is Oak Harbor. I can't believe this is 14 years old. On the way to Oak Harbor, a player called Caveman sent a message in the global channel. He was recruiting new players to his deed, and I replied that I was in need of a place. I transferred to the Cadence realm where Caveman was situated and got invited to the Great Wick Enclave. Caveman took me all around the deed and showed me where everything I'd need was located, including the central storage bins that I could use to construct some kind of house. This deed was over 2 years old, and after the original founder of the deed recently vanished, Caveman, with the help of one other, began this revival project of sorts, and as far as I know, I was one of the first recruits. With my limited level of carpentry, the biggest house I could make at the time was a 1x2 shed, so that's what I constructed. It took a measly 9 hours in total, spread over 3 different days, including making hundreds of logs into planks, smelting iron into iron clumps for both large and small nails, and eventually hammering in every single plank individually until my ears couldn't take any more of that beautiful building sound. I think I'm happy with it, but I'm also not doing anything more. I'm finished. I've just spent the last hour trying to get a dining room table through a single door. Quick little house tour. This is the reception, and as you come on through, we have the dining room, and then we have the garden in the back, fenced off beautifully, and I feel strangely satisfied. Rye Games' house. Shed. That's all it was missing. Now we're actually done. It's 5 AM. I'm going to bed. About a week after I finished the shed, I spotted Caveman online again. They told me my house looked great, which was definitely a pity compliment, but I was half expecting to log on and see all the other plots filled with new players who joined after myself. But not a single new recruit was found in the time that I was gone. That plot is all yours, though I'm trying to get new people, but not that many I can find. I wish I had like a bunch of people that I could ask to kindly come try this game and maybe even come build in this village. I just don't know where to find such people. He's given me permission. If you're interested in joining this deed or village, or you just want to have a look and a visit, it is up here on the Cadence map, top left, and a link to this map will be in the description below. You spawn here at the Isle of Skye, and you just walk. Make sure that if you do come to this village and would like to join, please know that the game is not straightforward and it is a grind. If you're interested enough to at least try the game and get stuck in, even if it's just to build a little shit shack like I did, make sure you come to this village because they'll set you up and they'll help you facilitate whatever you want to do. Caveman is an absolute legend and this place is beautiful. If you'd like to catch Caveman online to ask some questions or maybe to join the deed, I'd usually see him late on in the evening, EST time zone. Thank you to everyone who helped me grasp even just a speck of what Wurm is all about. It's one of the most fascinating MMORPGs in the world, and the crafting system is one of the most enjoyable I've used, no matter how tedious some things can be. I was the happiest I'd been in weeks after I managed to fit that dining table through the front door of my shed. It took me 30 minutes to craft that table, so when it actually fit in the house, I was very happy. If you have any more questions about Wurm or want to get started, it's one of the friendliest communities I've ever come across. There's a help channel in game where even the dumbest questions get answered with just a tiny little bit of judgment. And there's also an official Discord that I'll link below. Remember to send games you'd like to see me try to my Twitter or in my Discord, where we also hold events like the one we did on Vanguard. In case I don't upload again before the new year, Merry Christmas. This has been one of the best years of my life thanks to you lot. Not only are Chelsea playing good football again, but this community has become something I'm so proud of. But I know the holidays can be a lonely time. We have a bunch of friendly people in my Discord if you ever want to come in and just chat. I'll be popping in and out of VCs over the holidays, and we'll probably do a few giveaways as a way of saying thank you. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and subscribe.